then this video is a must watch for you, as the income tax department has changed the taxability of dividend income since the last financial year. Dividend income is no more exempt, so do not make the mistake of reporting your dividend income under the head exempt income. Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. I'm Jyoti Arora, tax expert from Clear. Clear is India's largest tax and financial services platform where we have served more than 6 million plus return filers. As we know that the retail investors have increased multifold in the past 2 years. Yes, retail investing had been on a rise even before pandemic, but COVID situation just gave a push to young investors into the financial markets. So now, if you invest in stock, then they give you returns in two forms, that is dividends and capital gains. In this video, we are going to learn about the new provision of the dividend income in the Income Tax Act, TDS and advanced tax applicability on the dividend income, and how it is reported in your income tax return. So stay tuned till the end. But before we begin, I have an exciting announcement for you. We have a free giveaway for our new subscribers, which is a comprehensive guide for income tax returns for financial year 2021, which may help you with basic doubts you may have about return filing. To claim it, subscribe to our channel and you'll find the link in the description box below. So now let's begin. First, we will see the old provision. So the dividend received from an Indian company was exempt until 31st of March 2020, while those who received dividend over rupees 10 lakh were taxed at 10%. Now that was because the company declaring such a dividend already paid dividend distribution tax, that is DDT, before distributing the dividend income to the shareholders. Now this was the old provision. However, the Finance Act 2020 abolished the dividend distribution tax and moved to a classical system of taxation where the dividend is now taxable in the hands of the receiver, that is the investor or shareholders. This provision is applicable for all dividend income received on or after 1st of April 2020. The dividend distribution tax liability on companies and mutual funds stands withdrawn. Similarly, the tax of 10% on dividend income to residents, individuals, HUF and firms in excess of rupees 10 lakh under section 115 BBDA has no relevance, as the entire amount of dividend shall be taxable in their hands. So now, as dividend is taxable in the hands of shareholder, various provisions of the Act have been revived, such as allowability of expenses from dividend income, deductibility of tax from dividend income, etc. Now, as it is clarified that the domestic companies will not be liable to pay dividend distribution tax on dividend distributed after 1st of April 2020, however, they will still be liable to deduct tax, that is TDS, under section 194. Now, as per section 194, any dividends distributed after 1st of April 2020, the Indian company will have to deduct tax at the rate of 10% from such distributed dividends if the aggregate amount of the dividend distributed to a shareholder is more than rupees 5,000. However, as a COVID-19 relief measure, the government reduced the TDS rate to 7.5% for dividend distributed between 14th May 2020 till 31st of March 2021. Now, this tax deducted will be available as credit from the total tax liability of the taxpayer while filing ITR. Let us understand this through an example. Suppose Mr. Ravi has received a dividend amounting rupees 6,000 from an Indian company on 15th of June 2020. Now, since his dividend income exceeds rupees 5,000, TDS will be applicable. Now, as the dates are within the COVID relief dates, TDS at 7.5% instead of 10% will be applicable. Accordingly, a TDS of rupees 450 will be deducted and Mr. Ravi will receive the balance amount of rupees 5,550. Now, the dividend income is taxable income of Ravi under the head income from other sources and will be taxed at the slab rates applicable for financial year 2021. Now, suppose Mr. Ravi has total tax liability of rupees 5,000 after including the dividend income. So what he can do is he can take the credit of TDS deducted of rupees 450 and pay the balance amount of tax liability, which is rupees 4650. Now, there is one exception to this rule. So this exception is not applicable to individuals, but still we'll see what is this exception. So no tax is required to be deducted from dividend paid or payable to Life Insurance Corporation, that is LIC, General Insurance Corporation, that is GIC, or any other insurer in respect of any shares owned by it or in which such insurer has a full beneficial interest. Also, any dividend paid to mutual funds is not subject to TDS. So now you'll think, who pays dividends? Any company which pay dividends to mutual fund houses or insurance companies is not required to deduct TDS. So now another exception is that no TDS will be deducted if the individual has deposited Form 15G or Form 15H, or if they have submitted form for lower or nil TDS deduction under Section 197. Next, let us see TDS in case of NRI. Now, TDS is required to be deducted at the rate of 20% subject to the double taxation avoidance agreement. Now, to avail the benefit of lower deduction due to beneficial treaty rate with the country of residence, the non-resident has to submit documentary proofs such as Form 10F, Declaration of Beneficial Ownership, Certificate of Tax Residency, etc. In absence of submission of these documents, higher TDS would be deducted, which can be claimed at the time of filing ITR. Now, the domestic companies used to deduct dividend distribution tax and distribute the dividend income. So back then there was no tax implication in the hands of the investors, but now investors will have to pay tax on it according to their tax slabs. So here the pitch is that the investors in the higher tax brackets will have to pay more tax on the dividend income compared to the investors in the lower tax brackets. So the taxability of dividend and tax rate will depend on many factors like residential status of the shareholder, relevant head of income, etc. In case of NRI, the provisions of DTAA, that is Double Taxation Avoidance Agreement, and multilateral instruments shall also come into play. Now, a person may deal in securities either as a trader or as an investor. The income earned by him from the trading activities is taxable under the head business income. Thus, if the shares are held for trading purposes, then the dividend income will also be taxable under the head business or profession. Whereas, if shares are held as investments, then the income arising in the nature of dividend from such shares shall be taxable under the head income from other sources. Now, dividend income are of two types: final dividend and interim dividend. Final dividend, including deemed dividend, shall be taxable in the year in which it is declared, distributed, or paid, whichever happens first. Now, an interim dividend is taxable in the year in which such amount is received. That is, the interim dividend is taxable on receipt basis. So, the taxability is different for both kind of dividends. For instance, if final dividend is declared in March 2021 but paid in April 2021, then it is taxable in the last financial year, that is 2020-21. However, if it is an interim dividend, then it will be taxable in the year of receipt, that is 2021-22. Did you get the point? So hope you are understanding and learning new things about the taxability of dividend income. If yes, then please type clear in the comment section below. Now, where the dividend is classified as business income, the shareholder can claim the deductions of all those expenditures which have been incurred to earn that dividend income, such as collection charges, interest on loan, etc. Whereas, if the dividend is taxable under the head of other sources, then the taxpayer can claim a deduction of only interest expenditure which has been incurred to earn that dividend income to an extent of 20% of the total dividend income. No deduction shall be allowed for any other expense, including commission or remuneration paid to banker or any other person for the purpose of realizing such dividend. So the dividend income is chargeable at normal tax rates as applicable to the investor or the shareholder. So the dividend income in the hands of non-resident person, including non-resident Indian, is taxable at the rate of 20% without providing for any deduction under the Income Tax Act. So as a general rule, advance tax liability will arise if the tax liability is more than rupees 10,000. But Income Tax Department has introduced an exception since the dividend has become taxable, that if there is any shortfall in the advance tax installment or the failure to pay advance tax installment on time is on the account of dividend income, then no interest under section 234C, which is interest on advance tax, is charged provided you pay full tax in the subsequent advance tax installments. Now this is logical, right? As we won't be able to assess the estimated tax liability on the dividend income till it is received. So you have to pay tax on this amount only when you receive it. But remember that you pay the advance tax the immediate next installment which is due once you receive your dividend income. But this benefit that you will not have to pay any interest under section 234C if you miss paying the advance tax due to the dividend income is not available in respect of deemed dividend referred in section 2 subsection 22 clause E. Now 2 subsection 22 defines the meaning of dividend in the Income Tax Act, and its clause E covers one such instance which is known as deemed dividend, where any amount paid in the form of loan and advances to a shareholder with more than 10% of voting rights will also be considered as a deemed dividend. So if in this case the interest will be applicable under section 234C. So a resident individual receiving dividends whose estimated annual income is below the exemption limit can submit Form 15G to the company or mutual fund paying the dividend. Similarly, a senior citizen whose estimated annual tax payable is nil can submit Form 15H to the company paying the dividend. Now, the company or mutual fund informs the shareholder about the dividend declaration on their registered mail ID. So if your income is below the exemption limit, then do submit Form 15G or 15H to claim dividend without TDS. So dividend received from a foreign company is taxable. Dividend received from such foreign company will be included in the total income under income from other sources head and charged to tax as the rates applicable to the taxpayer, that is normal slab rates. For instance, if the taxpayer comes in 30% tax slab rate, then such dividend will also be taxable at 30% along with cess. Even in the case of foreign dividend, the investor can claim deduction only for the interest expense restricted to 20% of such gross dividend income. However, the company declaring such dividend will have to deduct TDS under section 194 of the Income Tax Act, which is 10% for dividend income above rupees 5,000, and the rate is increased to 20% if the shareholder or the investor fails to submit PAN. So dividend received from a foreign company gets taxed both in India and in the home country of such foreign company. However, if the tax on the international company's dividend has been paid twice, that is in both the nations, then the taxpayer can claim DTAA. Now, the relief claimed can be either as per the provisions of double taxation avoidance agreement with such country, or he can claim relief as per section 91 if there is no agreement with that country. Now, this means that the taxpayer does not have to pay tax twice on the same income. So the quarterly breakup of dividend income is to be reported in ITR form. The ITR filing needs quarterly breakup details of income between these dates, like dividend earned up to 15th of June. If we consider last financial year, then 15th of June 2020, from 16th June 2020 to 16th September 2020, then from 16th September 2020 to 15th December 2020, and from 16th December 2020 to 15th March 2020. As well from 16th March to 31st March 2020. So the taxpayer will have to give details according to this breakup in their ITR filing forms, which is mandatory. We are going to show you a live demo, so stay tuned to watch it till the end.
So let's begin. First, log in to cleartax.in and start filing your ITR. Now, in this video, we will directly see how you have to report the dividend income. But you have other incomes like salary, capital gains, or house property, then please enter those details also. Also, you can directly upload your Form 16 so that all those details get auto-populated directly in the ClearTax e-filing portal. Now, let's begin. So, click on the Income Sources tab and under that, click on Other Income. Scroll down and you will see a section of other income with dividend income from domestic company and dividend income from mutual funds. Now, if you have invested in equity shares and received dividend through Zerodha, then you can directly upload the Zerodha TradeWise PNL and the equity dividend income data will get auto-populated here. So since financial year 2021, the dividend income has now become taxable in the hands of the investors and shareholders. So it is to be reported under other income sources, and also the Income Tax Act has mandated to report the dividend income quarter-wise. So here you will have to enter the details quarter-wise. Now suppose let us consider an example that you have received the dividend income of rupees 10,000 and this 10,000 is then to be reported quarter-wise as asked by the Income Tax Department. So the details required to be mentioned are dividend income up to 15th June 2020, dividend income from 16 June to 15 September, from 16 September to 15 December, from 15 December to 15th March, and from 16th March to 31st March. So this is how we have curated the data. You can get the data of the dividend income from your Form 26 AS and you can create a table so that it is easier to report it. Now let's add the details here. $2,000. Again 2,000. In September to 15 December 3,000. Again 3,000. So this is how one needs to add the dividend income details. Now you would have a query that why Income Tax Department is asking for a quarterly reporting. So as you know that many people have tax liability of advance tax payment if the total tax is rupees 10,000 or more. An advance tax payment is to be made quarter-wise. And if it is not timely deposited, then the interest penalty is levied on the shortfall amount. So the dividend income breakup is also asked by the Income Tax Department in the quarterly manner so that they can exactly calculate the interest on the shortfall of any advance tax liability on such dividend income. So the Income Tax Department will use this data to calculate the accurate interest liability.
That's all for today, folks. Hope this video was helpful to you. If you have any questions, then please ask us in the comment section below. We are always #here to help. Now, just a reminder that the return filing due date is few days away and you must not wait till the end. File your return on time before 31st of December to avoid any last minute hassle. Also, you have traded in any stocks and incurred any gains or losses, then return filing gets a bit more complicated, right? But Clear is at your rescue. You can avail Clear's expert assisted e-filing services. Our experts offer services via a video call and they give you the best tax saving strategies and will take care of your return from end to end. You don't have to worry at all. You also get 20% off on our assisted services by using this coupon code OFF20. To avail these services, go and check the link in the description box. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel and claim the free gift. Link is in the description box. Stay tuned. Bye-bye. Take care.